fucking what's going on? Good morning, Vietnam. What the fuck's up? All right, hit me.
Hey guys, welcome to Cruising with Marcus. Today I'm doing Dry Run podcast with my friend
Shane. I was not prepared for that cue. We didn't rehearse this. This is 100% raw dog content.
Yeah.
Raw dog is best dog. If you don't agree, I don't really know what we're doing here. So this is how we're going in.
Yeah.
Bite the pillow. So what's going on? Hit me. I heard you had some presets. You had some content today. Some context for what for speaking about.
Yeah.
Well, we just fucking witness
We have an issue.
our absolute spam group chat is just the spam game is strong, especially by Vicky. Fucking stop spamming, Vicky.
up with your car.
What up with my car? Okay, well, I'll tell you what up with my car. So, a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago, I suppose, I go and get, I get basically donated to me, this is a long time ago, I get basically donated to me a fucking stock automatic red 7th gen Honda Civic from my fucking slightly eccentric uncle. And it was parked in an underground parkade for like fucking 7 years ever since he bought. Oh yeah. Fucking forever. So there was like it was less than 100,000 kilometers on it when I sold it. A 7th gen Honda. So anyway, this thing had fuck all, whatever. It actually, when we sold it, it had the original tires that came on it that were about 20 years old. Yeah. So we go to fucking, I'm like, I start figuring out car shit and whatever, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is a 7th gen Honda Civic. This is the least moddable car on planet Earth. This is not what I'm after here. So eventually I decide I'm going to sell the thing. So I fucking, it takes me a while. I throw it up for $4,000. It's like mint fucking brand new. And I get a bite on it and whatever. And and it's some fucking sort of douchebag who's like, I'll take fucking for $3,000. And I'm like, literally, I've had it up for like 4 days, dude. Like, what are you just going to show up and undercut me fucking like 25%? Like, no, what the fuck? Anyway, so then another guy who's not a douchebag showed up and he's like, yeah, if I can take it to a mechanic and make sure there's nothing enormously wrong, I'll fucking give you $4,000. I'm like, sick. So he buys it, and all goes pretty much well there. Fucking takes it to mechanic. There's nothing wrong, like I thought there wasn't. And he takes it that day, and we get 2 e-transfers because you can't fucking e-transfer more than $2,000. Some bullshit. Yeah. So his wife transferred me $2,000, and he transferred me $2,000, and I got the $4,000. I go out like basically the next day, and I find this fucking IS300. Find it's a yellow Lexus IS300. The whatever that is, like 99 to 02 gen or whatever. I don't know what the fuck year it is. It's the one that came with the 2J. It was the NA 2Js, but it's a fucking 2JZ. So for all y'all motherfuckers know anything about cars, a 2JZ is some shit you want to have in your life. That's kind of where it's at, boys. About that and LS is fucking at me, 4-banger guys. However, SRs are kind of the shit as well. So we get this thing picked up. And like basically that day, I'd fucking drive it back within, I think it was either that day or the next day. I take it to a meet. And fucking, I let one friend go for a rip in it, who we will call him Daddy Joe. And so we go for a rip, and we do we go to Mexico momentarily, and do a little hoonery, do a little bit of tire spinning with the lateral movement inclined context. In other words, we're drifting in a cul-de-sac. And so he's like, fuck, oh my God, dude, I love this. Fuck. Because he has the same one, but it's kind of clapped or whatever. Not clapped. It's fucking like, it just has like 350,000 kilometers on it. The engine's a little tired. But other than that, it's fucking way mintier than mine. I love you, Joe. Anyways, fucking, so we go hooning or whatever. And then buddy of mine. What shall we call him? Then the big frog. The big frog takes it out. And he goes out with Daddy Joe. And they go out and hoon some more and do some fat fucking donuts in an undisclosed location across two borders.
Yeah.
And they come back and my automatic transmission is pouring fluid. It's fucking pouring fluid. I'm like, yo, sick, bro. Fucking dope. So so it's like the first day we got it, and it's basically been leaking ever since then. So as I'm driving around with basically no seals left in this fucking transmission, they're just all blown out and pouring fluid everywhere. I just start topping it up, and it sort of keeps getting worse. And then maybe send it once or twice, and then we're not clever here. We just sort of send it, and now it's a touch broken, just a touch. So we go fucking. Eventually, the tipping point of it was after I had been running it on. Oh, okay. Well, this is a good part of the story too. So we'll throw this in. I go to Lordco to get some ATF or whatever, and I think there's some. No, I was going to get brake clean and ether, fucking starter fluid for my Kawasaki that I was trying to running again. So I get over there, no problem, basically. I get back, and right as I'm coming down whatever street onto King George, I turn left onto King George, and my car goes, fucking starts banging limiter. And I'm not going any faster. Like, I'm slowing down, and we're banging limiter. I'm like, oh, sick. So... Funny enough, I pull in while my boy, the big frog, is on shift at the Great Canadian Oil Change. Literally, it was like the first turn off after that intersection. And I'm like, yo. Car goes dead, first turn off. So I pull in there just like on momentum, basically. I'm like, saw it in, car's fucked. And he's like, oh yeah? I'm like, oh yeah, banging limiter. And he goes, I know what you need. You need some of this tree sap shit. And I go, fucking tree sap? The fuck you talking about? Tree sap in my car. And he goes, nah, this shit's great. I'll show you. So we dip over to Lordco because they didn't have any at the shop. Holy fuck. I don't have the Rona, by the way. Just do that because the house we live in was a grow up 2 separate times. And our landlord is unscrupulous, shall we say. So I have like a 16-year-old fucking sister who hacks like a 30-year smoker. And it's not because she's a 30-year smoker, just in case you are wondering. It's called mold spores from a house being a grow up. Anyway, so aside from all that shit, we get it running. We get over to Lordco. We get some of this tree sap shit. And I'm like, holy fuck, this really is tree sap. It takes us about 10-15 minutes to pour the shit into the actual funnel. It's just clogging. Like, it's just like balling. It's so thick. This fucking tar, this cool to cold molasses we're putting into my transmission. Anyway, fixes the problem for a while. Leaks, slows down. I don't have to top it up as often. Fucking buying ATF at gas stations. So we go fucking a little while longer, and it kind of starts leaking again. And I'm like, I bet if we just make the trans fluid a little bit thicker, it'll stop leaking. So I put another bottle of stop leak in. And like another bottle, and then one day it kind of runs dry, like it fucking empties out. And then I buy like 3 bottles of stop leak and basically fill the trans with just Lucas Oil stop leak. So at this point, things are a little interesting. When I cold start my car in the morning, I have to hold it at, I wait for it to warm up for a little bit, of course, and then I hold it at about 6 grand. And move at probably 1 kilometer per hour until I get rolling. That probably takes about 30 seconds. And then the converter hooks or whatever. And then so I'm driving this thing around. We're coming back. We're bringing it in. We're reeling it in. We're segueing back into the relevant question of today. So I'm driving it around on just stop leak, and it sort of, sometimes when you're at a stop, the converter just sort of like opens up like a diff or whatever. I don't know what the fuck was going on, but the fluid wasn't being pumped through there to enough of an extent that the thing was full. So I think what was happening was the converter started cavitating. So my stall went fucking way up because there was just like not enough fluid in the fucking shit or something from pumping lots. So it had basically gone in neutral, and then occasionally it would like bump back into engaged. So at a stop, my car would just sometimes sort of go in and out of being in basically neutral and it's spinning to like hooked, like maybe lower than normal. So it looked like I was like bumping and staging like in a drag strip. Like it was just and I'd kind of jump forward. I'd be on the brakes and then jump forward. I'm like, I'm not driving like an asshole. I promise. Like, just your car just does this. So eventually we decided to go camping for like the umpteenth time, third or fourth time in the summer. We decided to go camping. So I'm going to meet up at a couple friends' place or whatever because I just finished this fucking custodial course or whatever. Fucking went to Kwantlen, got my fucking C ticket for being a fucking welder and shit, right? Everyone says, go into the trades, it's great. Fucking 2 years later, I've found probably 2 jobs that ever responded to me. And I sent out hundreds of applications. Like, I'm on Indeed doing like fucking, 10 applications a day, like every second fucking day. I don't know. Anyway, fucking plenty, okay? So don't fucking at me. There was no job. Oh, I could have told you what. Well, fucking no one was showing up before I decided I needed a fucking career path change. So go to Kwantlen, and it turns out 2 years later, that doesn't mean shit, because the fucking hippies shut down the pipeline right when I got out of Kwantlen, and then the fucking oil fields burned down, and all the B-level motherfuckers with the red seals and fucking BTP 100s and all that shit pour back down to the fucking lower mainland and your sea level. It doesn't mean anything because of inflation. Take note, fucking Canadian government. Inflation. Anyway. So I'm driving, and I get in all the way from Surrey, whatever, into New West, and I'm kind of right by Douglas, and I go to turn right up the street there, and it's a pretty steep hill, and my car is doing fine thus far, aside from the fact that it starts smoking all the time. So what I have to do is roll down the windows while I'm moving, and then before I come to a stop, roll up the windows so that the trans smoke doesn't fill the cabin of my car. That was a real thing that I had to do. So I go to turn up this hill, kind of, it's fine, and I'm rolling backwards down the hill in gear. And I'm like, sick, bro. So we go, well, me, there's no one else in the car. So I go, like I put it in park basically or whatever. No, I didn't put it in park. What did I do? Fucking, I put my foot on the brake. Put my foot on the brake, fucking threw my hazards on, whatever, to keep from rolling back down the hill. Tried to get it to hook a couple of times, and then someone comes up behind me, and they're like, fucking, I'll help you out. So he hops out of the car, and I put the fucking e-brake down and try to put it back in gear, and we go to push it for a second, and then it hooks up, or it's sort of in neutral, and sort of not. Can't really decide what the fuck it's doing. I don't fucking know. So eventually I get back in the car and just try to fucking whatever again, like start it again while he's pushing, and it sort of finally rolls out of the way, like it just, it fucking goes back. So this is the first turn off main drag there that I was trying to get up, that I was like, well, I'm clearly not getting up this. And I thought it was like a school parking lot or something, like a staff. So it was like staff parking only. So I park on the staff parking, and I walk up to the friend's house, and I go, hey, fucking car just died. I need to either go retrieve the car, or I need to retrieve my stuff, because we have camping to go to. So I go, someone goes, all right, I'll fucking drive you back down, and we'll see if we can, do something. So he drives me down. We get all the stuff from my car. We get some of the stuff from my car, and he goes, "Nah, dude, move it. It's fine. I'll bet you. We could do it. We could do it." And I'm like, "All right." So I pull out of the stall on the side of this little strip fucking turn off thing. Excuse me. And I'm where am I? I pull forward.
Yeah.
And go to I fucking sway over to the right side and go to do a fucking K-turn or whatever, do a bang Yui in this little fucking parking lot bit. Mm-hmm. So I turn, basically pointing these stairs, and the car's like done. Fucking like it wouldn't go through gears or anything. Like it was just neutral was forward, reverse was forward, forward was sort of neutral and sort of forward. So I couldn't turn around. And then I look up and I'm staring up the steps of City Hall. I'm in the middle of the stairs, perpendicular to the road, basically front bumper touching the front step of City Hall in the middle of the parking lot. And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm leaving it here. Fuck a tow. Can you imagine when some fucking city employee shows up and fucking sees this on Monday morning? Oh my God, I fucking pay to see their face. That wasn't going camping. So he's like, well, we're going to have to leave it. I'm like, yeah, thanks for your help there, bud. So we load all my shit into the car. And fucking, this guy's driving a fucking Subi. Fucking Subi had to try and rescue a Lexus. I'm dying. Not dying, I'm fine. Anyway, so we boot it back up to the house or whatever, hang out for a bit. Some people, people show up, people go, whatever, fucking. And we got a guy there who we will call, what will we call him? We will call him Mr. fucking Parker Mechanic. I'm trying to come up with some dumb. Yeah. Fucking. We will call him Parker Mechanic. So Parker Mechanic. Fucking he's actually like a mechanic for real, not just a fucking sort of a mechanical enthusiast or whatever, someone who thinks or wishes they were a mechanic, like all the motherfuckers we hang out with. So he comes down and he's like, well, dude, no, you're still going to get towed and you're going to come back from the weekend with a tow bill and blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I don't really. I'm like, it's fine. Like, you don't have, I got nowhere to be now because I just finished my course, and you only have to pick the car out once you need it, right? From the impound or whatever. You pick it up whenever. So I can just leave it there and cancel my insurance and chill it until I have a job. So he's like, fucking, no, you're going to have a time bill. Dude. So we go back down there. And he turns the thing on or whatever, takes his keys, pops the little thing out of the console, the shifter, bangs it manually into neutral, and we roll it back. And I'm like, okay. So once you bang it into neutral for some reason, it starts like going back into gear. So he goes, just try to get it to whatever. So I'm like, oh, dude, fuck, if we pull it up this hill, we're not pushing it up the hill. Like, no chance. Like, if you know anything about New West, motherfucker's like 70 degrees. Like, it's fucking straight up and down in this bitch. It's fucking absolutely ridiculous. So I turn the thing on, I fucking throw it back in gear, and I hold the thing at about 6,500 RPM for like half this fucking trip up the hill. And we make it, and I'm like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. So I pull in front of their house, and they're like, no, we gotta fucking park around back. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. So I fucking pull it out again. I go all the way around to the back house, and we made it. And I'm like, dude, this thing was pouring smoke and banging limiter without moving a minute ago. That was straight miraculous. Like, that was just, what the fuck? So anyway, we have a little conversation about what's going on with my transmission. I have the manual in the trunk already. It's fine. We're gonna fix it. But anyway, so it gets left behind a friend's. Did I say their name? No. Okay. So it gets left behind a friend's house in New West for, I don't know, how long has it been since that last camp? fucking 3 weeks, a month. Yeah, like a month. And they jokingly called it the IS graveyard because Daddy Joe's IS also fucking blew up. or whatever, or he like sheared lugs on or something, and had to end up parking it behind their house too. So it's just IS is just dying near their house, I guess. So we just go to pick it up today. Fucking Marcus drives me all the way out to New West, and then we realize the car is dead, which we didn't expect for some reason. Because I go and buy a bunch of fluids, and we're gonna fill it back up, and we're gonna drive it back. And everyone's like, "Dude, your fucking trans is so broken, it's never gonna work." And I'm like, "Fucking, we're gonna send it," because I already have the shit. So fucking just gonna send it. So we drive over, and we don't expect this, but for some reason it's fucking dead. Whatever, it's dead. So I'm like, "You got jumper cables?" And Marcus is like, "Nope." And we go into a friend's house or whatever, and they're like, "Nope." I'm like, "Shit, man, there's so many times I almost bought jumper cables." So shit's dead. I'm like, "Okay, so we'll go somewhere to buy jumper cables." And Marcus is like, "No, I got a booster pack at my house." I'm like, "Marcus, we're not driving all the way fucking back to your house, buddy," because I think his house is in like Langley or some shit. And he's like, no, it's fine. So I'm like, "Is it closer than my place?" He's like, "Oh yeah, Hundy's, right? It's closer." And I'm like, we drive there, and I'm like, "I don't think this is much closer than my place." It was definitely like 15-20 minutes there and 15-20 minutes back. But anyways, we get back. It's fucking dark. We get back to the fucking car. Leave a little booster pack thing on there. Excuse me, for like, I don't know, fucking 3 minutes or something. You go to fire it up. Nothing. And like, done. And then so I leave it for another second. And it lights up again. Like, all right, sick. So we get it going again. I leave it idling because it's been off for fucking 2 months. So I leave it idling for forever. I'm filling up all the fluids, and we're just sort of 50-50ing almost fucking ATF and stop leak. And so we go to take it for a little boot around just around the block to make sure that it's going to function. So Marcus hops in my car, and he's like, "Let's fucking go." And I'm like, "Okay." So we fucking, and I put it in gear, and I hit the gas, and sort of nothing really happens, and the breaks down. Nothing really happens. I'm like, and then I realized that this is what I had to deal with before. So I'm like, "Oh yeah, this." So I just hold it at like 65 for, I don't know, 30 seconds until we start moving. And we finally get moving down the block, and we're going out to a right turn onto the main fucking street there, sort of one of them. So I'm like, I cannot accelerate out of this alley properly, so we're waiting for like the gappingest of gaps. So we wait like, I don't know, 10-12 cars pass until it's a fucking ghost town, and I'm like, woo, at like $4,000 doing like a fucking 2 kilometers an hour out of this fucking town. And then we get going downhill or whatever, and it catches, and we start being able to drive, and I'm like, yes, fucking sick. So we fucking whip it back around. I go under, fucking check the leaks. It's somehow not leaking. I'm like, fucking what, dude? This is better than I could have possibly expected. So Marcus hops back in the hoe. And I fucking, whip off into the fucking thing, and he fucking tails me all the way home. And I'm on empty from New West to like mid-Surrey, almost Langley. And fucking, so we're like, we're gone. Like, we're fucking, it's on empty, and we're like on bridges and shit in the highway. And anyway, we somehow make it back to my fucking house. It was fucking priceless. Like, with my car, with the transmission that's fucked, on empty, with I was coming off the bridge or whatever one time a bit back, and with the aforementioned Vicky and the fucking, should have come up with a name for you. Should have just called her Whoa Vicky. We'll call her Whoa Vicky. With Whoa Vicky in the well, if you saw her, you'd know where the Whoa came from. Anyway, so we're coming back from New West. I'm dropping her off at her house. And just on the exit from New West, like onto the bridge or whatever, it's a little wet. It was the first time it had rained out in a while. So all the oil comes up off the road and shit. and I whip around that fucking thing at slightly speeding. And we start sliding. We start sliding a little bit. I'm like, oh fuck. And we have a little bit of a wall tap. And we have a little slap. And by the end of the bridge, I'm like, oof. My steering wheel is probably 20-30 degrees off to the left when my wheels are straight. And I'm like, sick, bud. So we swing it past the aforementioned, like the next day or whatever. Vicky gets home, she's fine. I'm fine. The fucking car makes it home. And we swing it past Great Canadian or whatever, and he gets under it, and he's like, oh, fuck, you're good. Because I got like a bent lower control and like a broken something or other. So basically, when I get up to about 80, my car just starts like sort of vibrating, like high speed wobbling or whatever. So basically, like with my alignment dicked, fucking stance on one side and no stance on the other by accident. Fucking on empty with a broken trans, we make it back to my fucking house, and I'm like, buddy, we're fucking killing it there, bud. Like, we just fucking kill it. So then we're fucking, you know, we're trying to coordinate about, you know, fucking, we'll see a man about a couch and see a fucking, you know, scooch about a gooch, right? Anyway, that wraps up the car story and how apparently I have some pretty sterling vehicular luck by any stretch, any standard that I would compare myself to. Yeah.
Thank you for listening our podcast. If you want more, please drop a comment, and don't forget like the video and podcast.
Sweet. All right. Signing the fucketh off, my guys. Next time we might have a couple more topics, a little more time, and some more people. Yeah. All right. See you guys later. Yeah.
With